Welcome guys. So in this tutorial we're going to be looking at how we can install the XAMPP properties. The XAMPP is a database server. I'm going to show you all how to install XAMPP. XAMPP is a database application that enables us to be able to create the databases on our local devices, because unlike platforms like database servers like MongoDB and many others, we discovered that XAMPP is one of the PHP platform that enable us to create database, and we can be able to link this database to our website. So what it does is that it permits you to be able to run PHP applications, and it also helps you to I don't know why this, but it helps us to be able to run PHP application, because for example, if you create a PHP file, which you to run that file, you must a PHP website. For example, I have sample websites here. You go to my XAMPP folder. So you see it is located at the XAMPP folder, and here it is listed up. You can see that these are different applications that I have in my application. But I cannot run this file or the applications without the use of XAMPP. So that is why for us to be able to run any PHP application, you have to install XAMPP. And in order to be able to create databases, you have to read MySQL. You have to use XAMPP. XAMPP is a very important application. As a developer or as a software engineer, you will have to need XAMPP, except that you want to focus on the aspect of JavaScript without going to PHP, because PHP is a programming language that permits developers to be able to create applications using database, including their databases on their local device especially, and you can also use online platforms like the MongoDB. And it also permits you to be able to create web applications, where you can create web applications to run on your local devices. So when you create this web application, and you have to go to there are other tools that you have to use to run this application. I don't know why this one is taking a lot of time to upload this registration. Okay. Should be open right now. I don't know how this okay, so yeah, so these are sample applications. For example, this code opportunity, this code proportion, this is a web application that I just created, and this application is help is to carry out some basic aspects. About. So we discovered that for us to be able to run these applications, we will have to use the XAMPP application. The XAMPP application allows you to run this, and for us to do that, you have to go to your browser and tap on your local host. For example, okay, so local host. For example, I want to run the application. I can't run it now because my XAMPP is not on, and I need to put it up before I can be able to run it. I'm trying to this is not going to work because our XAMPP has not been activated. Okay, this is the XAMPP application here. It took a lot of time and you had to open a lot of applications. So these are different. This is the interface of XAMPP. So what you need to do is see that there's a module here for Apache, MySQL, FileZilla, Mercury, Tomcat. These are different modules and which the exam application handles. So we'll also be able to communicate with the exam in order to permit local database storage. You are going to see that you have to start the Apache in order to permit PHP. The exam is available direction. You're checking the previously, all conclusive founded initializing, checking all time man. So when you click on this thing, you're going to see all this information. Now this one, it just automatically indicate here. So what you need to do again, you have to activate your MySQL, because this MySQL is going to help us to communicate with the exam database. So now what you have to do is, now that our exam is done, let's try to access it now. Let's try to access the exam. Local host. So everything has been local host. Okay. Now, so you see that it is now activated. So exam Apache my PHP. So for us to be able to install this, we are going to have, you see, welcome to exam for Windows 8.2.2.12. So this is the exam, this is the version. So you have to quickly install exam in this system, and then you can start by using Apache and PHP and other components. You can now find more information. So you're going to see that now what you have to do, you go to PHP my admin, and here we're going to see where you can go to create our database. PHP my admin is a framework that enables database creation with the exam application. And so you can also come here to see all the PHP information and all the guides. You can come here to get a guide for your exam application. So that is how you can work on that. Now the next thing I want us to see is how to install the exam. Sometimes most people face a lot of difficulties to install it. It is much more simple. So you see that this is our PHP my admin framework. So this is the interface. So here for us to get the database, we just need to click on new. We're going to click on new, and we're going to ask you to enter the database name. There's a database name, and there's you can create a database name. For example, let's just create the my DB. This is my database name, and I'm not going to create a create. You could probably delete it also. So the database name is different from the database. I mean the table name. So there is a database name and there is a table name. So don't be confused with that. So the table name is what is the name of all the table information. For example, when you are storing information in chart in sheet form, you discover that in most of the column and the rows that is called a table. So here exam we also have a, so let me just call my table name. The table name is something like this. To use the lowercase database. Please avoid using capital letters in your tables. So what you need to do is, okay, so you see that these are the different information features that we have to enter. For example, you have to enter the name, you have to enter, let's see, the table ID, the table name, the information of people, and whatever you want to store in your database. So you just see that these are how you can do. Now what we have to do again is you can probably delete this table. For example, you just click on it. This is a table name. Okay, my GB, this is it. So what I have to do is that I want to delete this database. I want to delete it. So I can just click on this place and collapse all. Export. You can privilege event. You got now. Then I search. Okay, so this so you can actually delete your database, and you can delete your database and you can delete your table. So we'll see that in the next. So this is another one. So we'll see that in the next section. So what I want us to get from here is how to install our exam. So let's go to the browser, and you're going to type on and your browser exam download. Exam. Let's just specify the windows. Let's go to download. Then see that it didn't give us a list of information here. Make sure that you're seeing something like Apache phrase.org. You click on this first link, click on the first link, then you're going to be taken to the official website, and here you discover that we're going to access all the information. And you can now have more features about how XAMPP function. So to avoid that, always ensure that you click on this link. There is another XAMPP installer and download Apache. Go to apache.org. You have the XAMPP download source for this one. This is not the right one, so please you can click on the second link or on the first link. So you need it and you will see that. Please avoid such things like that, because this ones they are mostly they are platforms, web platforms that helps to avoid. Now most of the time you always have issues with your maybe MySQL not functioning or Apache is not working. What you can do is that you can actually use your command line interface on the database. For example, this is a command line interface here. You're going to see that you click here, it's going to take you to the command line interface, and here you can be able to use the PHP. You see, you can be able to use the PHP something like that. So this is something like direction. So these are all the directions that are found in our database. These are all the directions. You can see that these are all the directions of Apache, Apache Star, Apache Soul, all these things. These are all the applications that are available in our XAMPP database application. So this is another way you can also use to create your database and name it, delete it, update. So we're going to look at the concept of database in the next tutorial. So make sure you leave a thumbs up, if you like this video, subscribe and leave a thumbs up, because we are going to be doing a lot of information. For those of you that want to learn database, it's not for everybody, because not everybody that would like to do such things. So if you want to do database, you can just contact me, or you write a comment. Just write a comment, I want to learn database, and I will get to you. Alright. So this is our website here. Since it's taking a lot of time in the work issue, challenges. I don't know why it's taking a lot of time. There's a network issues here. Yes. this is really taken down. It is going to